Welcome to the Discourse Analyzer AI Toolkit, where articles come alive. You're listening to the audio version of our article. For the full text and an interactive experience, check out the link in the description below. Interact with any selection using our AI assistant to enhance your understanding. Let's explore.
Philosophical Underpinnings of Global Studies in Discourse Analysis. The philosophical underpinnings of global studies in discourse analysis are grounded in theoretical frameworks that shape how global issues are discussed and understood. World systems theory highlights economic disparities, critical globalization studies challenge dominant narratives, and post-colonial theory critiques colonial influences. Philosophical foundations such as social constructivism, critical theory, and hermeneutics guide the interpretation of discourse, revealing power structures, cultural constructs, and ideological influences. 1. Theoretical frameworks. 1. Intersections of world systems theory with discourse narratives. Overview. World systems theory, proposed by Emanuel Wallerstein, views the world as a complex system consisting of a core, semi-periphery, and periphery, emphasizing economic dominance and exploitation. Discourse analysis application. In global discourse, this theory aids in understanding narratives of economic disparity, development, and globalization. Discourse analysis explores how language and communication perpetuate or challenge the narratives around global inequalities. Example: examining media coverage of global trade agreements reveals how core economies often shape the discourse to maintain advantageous positions, influencing perceptions of free trade, development, and economic relations. 2. Critical globalization studies and discourse patterns. Overview. Critical globalization studies interrogate the processes and impacts of globalization, questioning the neoliberal model's purported benefits. Discourse analysis application. The focus is on uncovering discourse patterns that propagate globalization's purported inevitability, naturalness, and positivity. Critical analysis explores narratives that challenge these assumptions and advocate for alternative global frameworks. Example: analyzing political speeches or academic articles reveals how pro-globalization rhetoric often frames economic liberalization as universally beneficial, while critical discourse uncovers the implications for marginalized populations. 3. Post-colonial theory in analyzing global discourses. Overview. Post-colonial theory examines the legacy of colonialism and its ongoing impact on current global power dynamics, culture, and narratives. Discourse analysis application. It scrutinizes how language and narratives reflect colonial ideologies and structures, revealing biases in global discourses around development, culture, and international relations. Example: analyzing international aid discourse exposes how post-colonial attitudes manifest in the language of donor countries, often reinforcing stereotypes of developing nations as backward or helpless. These theoretical frameworks inform the philosophical underpinnings of global studies in discourse analysis by offering insights into the power structures, ideologies, and narratives that shape global discourses. World systems theory highlights economic disparities, critical globalization studies challenge dominant narratives, and post-colonial theory critiques lingering colonial influences, collectively providing a robust framework for analyzing global issues. 2. Philosophical underpinnings of global studies in discourse analysis. 1. Philosophical foundations of discourse analysis in global studies. Discourse analysis in global studies is rooted in several philosophical traditions that shape its understanding of how global issues are discussed and represented. These foundations emphasize that discourse is not merely about language but also encompasses power dynamics, cultural constructs, and ideological influences. 2. Social constructivism in global discourse shaping. Overview. Social constructivism posits that knowledge and meaning are created through social interaction and are thus shaped by the cultural and historical contexts in which they arise. Application to global studies. Social constructivism helps explain how global issues, such as international relations or human rights, are constructed through discourse. It emphasizes the importance of social interactions in shaping perceptions of global challenges. Example: the construct of development in global discourse is influenced by social, economic, and political factors, often reflecting the dominant narratives of powerful nations and organizations. 3. Critical theory's role in critiquing global discourses. Overview. Critical theory, rooted in the Frankfurt School, aims to critique and change society by challenging power structures, ideologies, and systems of oppression. Application to global studies. Critical theory provides tools for critiquing global discourses by exposing how dominant narratives support existing power structures and often marginalize alternative viewpoints. Example: critical analysis of global trade agreements reveals how the discourse often privileges the interests of powerful nations and corporations, neglecting the voices and needs of less powerful countries. 4. Hermeneutic approaches to global narratives. Overview. Hermeneutics, the theory and methodology of interpretation, emphasizes understanding texts within their cultural and historical contexts. Application to global studies. Hermeneutic approaches in discourse analysis involve interpreting global narratives to understand their deeper meanings and the contexts that shape them. Example: analyzing international treaties or speeches through a hermeneutic lens uncovers the underlying intentions, assumptions, and worldviews that shape global policies and perceptions. The philosophical underpinnings of discourse analysis in global studies offer a comprehensive understanding of how global discourses are constructed, critiqued, and interpreted. Social constructivism reveals how global realities are shaped by discourse. Critical theory critiques the power dynamics within these narratives, and hermeneutic approaches provide insight into the deeper meanings of global texts. Together, they enrich the analysis of global discourses and enhance our understanding of international issues. Conclusion. Global studies in discourse analysis is enriched by theoretical frameworks and philosophical foundations that critically assess global narratives. World systems theory, critical globalization studies, and post-colonial theory illuminate the structures and ideologies shaping discourse, while social constructivism, critical theory, and hermeneutics provide analytical tools to critique and interpret global conversations. Together, they offer a nuanced understanding of how language shapes perceptions of global issues, influencing power dynamics and international policies. Frequently asked questions. What is world systems theory, and how does it relate to discourse analysis in global studies? World systems theory, developed by Emanuel Wallerstein, views the world as a system with core, semi-periphery, and periphery nations. In discourse analysis, it helps understand how language perpetuates or challenges narratives of global economic disparities. For example, examining media coverage of trade agreements can reveal how discourse maintains advantageous positions for core economies. How do critical globalization studies utilize discourse analysis? Critical globalization studies use discourse analysis to uncover patterns that propagate globalization's purported benefits. By analyzing political speeches and academic articles, they reveal how pro-globalization rhetoric frames economic liberalization as universally beneficial while exposing the implications for marginalized populations. What insights does post-colonial theory offer in analyzing global discourses? Post-colonial theory scrutinizes how language reflects colonial ideologies in global discourse. It reveals biases in how development, culture, and international relations are discussed, often reinforcing stereotypes of developing nations. For instance, it examines how donor countries' discourse around international aid can perpetuate stereotypes of developing nations as backward. How does social constructivism influence discourse analysis in global studies? Social constructivism posits that knowledge and meaning are created through social interaction, influenced by cultural and historical contexts. In global studies, it helps explain how international relations or human rights issues are constructed through discourse, reflecting dominant narratives influenced by powerful nations and organizations. What role does critical theory play in critiquing global discourses? Critical theory critiques global discourses by exposing how dominant narratives support existing power structures. It challenges power imbalances and highlights marginalized perspectives, often revealing how global trade agreements privilege powerful nations while sidelining the interests of less influential countries. How do hermeneutic approaches help interpret global narratives? Hermeneutic approaches emphasize interpreting texts within their cultural and historical contexts to uncover deeper meanings. In global studies, they involve analyzing treaties, speeches, and policies to reveal the underlying intentions, assumptions, and worldviews that shape global policies and perceptions. How do theoretical frameworks like world systems theory, critical globalization studies, and post-colonial theory collectively enhance discourse analysis in global studies? These frameworks collectively enhance discourse analysis by offering insights into power structures, ideologies, and narratives that shape global discourses. World systems theory highlights economic disparities, critical globalization studies challenge dominant narratives, and post-colonial theory critiques lingering colonial influences. Together, they provide a comprehensive understanding of global issues. What are the philosophical foundations of discourse analysis in global studies? The philosophical foundations include social constructivism, which reveals how global realities are shaped by discourse; critical theory, which critiques power dynamics within global narratives; and hermeneutic approaches, which interpret the deeper meanings of global texts. These foundations offer a robust framework for understanding global discourse. Why is it important to analyze discourse in the context of global power dynamics? Analyzing discourse in the context of global power dynamics is important because language can maintain or challenge existing power structures. It shapes perceptions and influences policy, so understanding how discourse operates can reveal biases and inequalities in global narratives. How do these philosophical underpinnings help understand global challenges like trade, migration, and environmental issues? These underpinnings help by providing a critical lens to analyze how discourse frames and constructs these challenges. They reveal how power dynamics, cultural perspectives, and ideological influences shape global narratives, influencing public perception and policy making on issues like trade, migration, and the environment.